You're listening to Cosmic Cousins Soul-Centered Astrology. I am your host, Jeff Hinshaw. Thanks for tuning in. Cosmic Cousins is dedicated to honoring the interconnectedness of our universal family through embodied health, self-discovery, and deeper learning. And it is here to bring you back into alignment with the cosmos. So thank you for being here as always. Hey, Cosmic Cousins. I am here for a special episode to wish you a happy solstice, happy summer solstice on the northern hemisphere, happy winter solstice to you if you are on the southern hemisphere. I am elated because it is finally sunny here where I am located in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon. So I have taken some breaks throughout the day to go and lay outside. I've been going on some nice hikes. Soak in the sun if you're able to. This is interesting for us because we are moving into a new quarter of the year, Cancer season, our cardinal water sign. The cardinal signs, there's 4 of them, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. These 4 signs initiate. They start new beginnings. They start a new quarter of the year. And so you can think of the cardinal signs are the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. These 4 signs are very relational. They connect us to home and family, to each other, the way we relate one-on-one, to our individual growth, and also to our greater purpose in the world. I also find that cardinal signs are very activist-oriented as well. Cardinal, you can think of initiating, taking action. And so I use the cardinal signs in the tarot to represent I use the Knights in the tarot to represent cardinal energy. So you could take your Knight of Cups out. This is a Cancerian card, the Knight of Cups. Moving forward, Knight, cardinal, with emotion, cups, through reflection, through healership, through nostalgia, imagination, through relationship. There's a lot of different ways that we can connect to it, but as we cross this threshold into the summer months, new beginnings, cardinal, and often it is coming from a place of refilling up the cup, water. So Cancer is interesting because its soul growth card in the tarot is the Chariot. And so the Chariot is very solar. It has a yellow backdrop. Oftentimes we'll see a very sunny disposition or the solar plexus is illuminated. In the Modern Witch Tarot that I'm looking at right now, this figure is riding a motorcycle and they have the front of the motorcycle has a big spotlight, which is right there where the solar plexus would be. And they hold a wand down by their side. So there's a very solar vibe to this card. When we think of Cancer season on the northern hemisphere being the summer solstice, the most light that we will receive throughout the year is here on the summer solstice. There is a very solar quality to Cancer, even though its ruling planet is the moon. So the moon is also represented on the Chariot card. We see 2 crescent moons on the biker's jacket. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, the shoulder pads are crescent moons. One actually has the face of comedy. The other has the face of tragedy. There's a lot of duality taking place. Oftentimes there's 2 sphinx seen in front of the Chariot or 2 horses. One is white, one is black. So the idea of duality is present here, which we also see reflected on the High Priestess card, which is one of Cancer's cards as well. The High Priestess is connected to the moon, which is the ruling planet for Cancer. So as we move into summer, both Cancer and Leo, these are our next 2 seasons to follow, are connecting us to the luminaries, the sun and the moon. And can you tell that Mercury's in Gemini right now? Because I feel like I'm communicating a lot really quickly. So I'm going to take a step back and allow us to honor this time of year. Cancer season. I'm coming on here to touch base with you about the energy of the next week. So this is from June 21st through June 27th. And then I'll have another episode ready for you for the Cancer new moon on June 28th. That's Tuesday, June 28th. Yeah, so let's first start by just taking a moment to connect to Cancer. If you're new here to this show, big part of it is always about bringing this cosmic information into the body. So we'll start there. Cancer is connected to the belly. So maybe you place the hands on the belly, take a deep, nourishing inhale to this part of your body. Over the next 30 days, this offers us a time to connect to the Cancerian themes and to the Cancerian body parts. June 21st to July 22nd, this is the dates for Cancer season. And so we can connect to the belly. We can connect to the rib cage. Maybe take a deep, nourishing inhale into the ribs, expand the ribs, breathe all the way up to the breast. This is also Cancer's part of the body. The belly, the ribs, the breast. In yoga, this is 3-part breathing. As these 3 parts, you breathe into them. It's called Dirga Pranayama, 3-part breath. And so you start by breathing into the belly, continue that inhale all the way up to the ribs and then up to the chest. And then exhaling from the chest, the ribs, the belly. And you keep the mouth closed, you breathe through the nose, and it starts to kind of mimic the sound of the ocean. And so this is connecting us to Cancer as well, that rocking back and forth motion of the waves going in and the waves going out, or of a parent rocking their child. This is also Cancerian, anything that soothes the nervous system. Cancer is an energy that is influenced by the changing of the tides, and its ruling planet, as we were saying, is the moon. And so during this time period, over the next 30 days, June 21st to July 22nd, we in many ways experience the entire astrological journey because the moon moves through each of the 12 signs throughout a month or a month. So this is the only time of the year where the sun is in a sign that is ruled by the moon. And so if you were wanting to deepen your connection to moon ritual, doing it during Cancer season is optimal. If you are a Cancer sun, moon, or rising, connecting to the moon cycles throughout the year is also very resonant with you and your chart. But we all have Cancer somewhere in our chart, and likely many of you listening have some sort of planet or placement in the sign of Cancer. For me, I have Black Moon Lilith in Cancer. So this is the 30-day time period every year where I get to honor Black Moon Lilith in my life. So see what you have in Cancer. Notice how you are shifting your awareness to this part of your chart. What house does Cancer live in your chart? For me, Black Moon Lilith in Cancer in the 6th house. My work, my service in the world. So 4th house could also be things that might come up for you during Cancer season. 4th house is Cancer's house. This is the bottom of our chart. And so this time of year, again, the moon's going to move through all 12 signs. We also get an opportunity to work with all 12 signs, all 12 houses in our chart over Cancer season. And this is the only time of year we experience this, as it's the only time of the year that the sun sign is ruled by the moon. So during this time of year, Cancer season, we all may start to feel greatly sensitive or intuitive. It may indicate a time of a hero's journey of sorts. This can be external, like an epic cross-country road trip. I've taken a few of those during Cancer season. Or it could be more internally, traversing your inner landscapes. Experiencing a wide range of emotions and moving through obstacles. This is the Chariot in the tarot. Can be moving through obstacles, going on a journey within the self. The Chariot initiates you into the 2nd row of the Fool's journey, going a bit deeper into the self. The Chariot is packing up their bags to head into the underworld. The Chariot could also represent being outward in the world, though, going on new adventures, The Chariot is connected to vehicles like cars, and so is Cancer. So actually getting in your car and going to the ocean, this is Cancer in nature, and the nostalgia of that, the memories that are attached to that, particularly to your parents and to your family. So Cancer, from a soul-centered perspective, is all about new growth and deeper self-inquiry. You can think that this time of year, early summer on the Northern Hemisphere, it is a time of year that can be quite nostalgic. For some of us, we might stay close to home, or others of us, we might revisit places from our past. I think of family reunions often will come up during this time. I think of summer romance. I think of summer at grandma's, neighborhood barbecues, vacation. There can be a lot of alone time. That if you're on the Northern Hemisphere, you have more light to be outside, to be under a tree, to be at the beach, even long walks on the beach, being by water, feeling dreamy. Water unlocks our emotion. It unlocks our memory. Not really thinking about time as much. It's a time of being watery and moody because of all of the internal shifts that are taking place. It feels like a coming of age. The Chariot in the tarot is coming of age. It's a time of growth. To be a baby who incarnated during this precious time of year, this is the first thing that you encountered on this earth plane. And so pay attention to that. So happy birthday to all of our Cancers. Cancer is, being influenced by this time of year, you may really feel an unwavering impulse to be at home. And you can think of giving birth to a child at the beginning of summer, especially if the parent is, a teacher. It may indicate that the parents get extra time off. This is a time of year that we take off and we're spending more one-on-one time with a child. Or perhaps this child is whisked off in their first few months to a relative's house, or has more visitors come within the first few weeks of their life because people are off from school, or they're on vacation, or they're really influenced by this moon nature of feeling more nostalgic, feeling more receptive to a child, to family. And because of this influence, as a Cancer, Cancers may completely identify with their parents. They may unconsciously replay karmic patterns that bind us to our family, that bind us to this physical reality. Just like the moon finds itself in cycles and acts as a portal connecting us to our ancestors, so this sensitivity can make those with Cancerian energy quick to learn the skill of protection and self-preservation at the core of their being. There could be a tendency to be attached. So Cancer may even feel like they feel life more than others. And because of that, you may want to hide out. That could be a natural tendency. I think of to be safe at home with the AC blasting during the heat of summer. But because of Cancer's sensitivity, it's important for us under this influence to have alone time, to distinguish our emotions from the emotions of others. And the way for us to grow and evolve and to wake up to our potential as a healer is to step outside of our comfort zone. This is important for Cancer energy. So this is a time of year where we are inviting ourselves to grow and to evolve, to step outside of our shell. Conscious water, Cancer's conscious water, to be aware of the emotions, to breathe into them, to completely feel them, to allow ourselves to be in self-care, to be cradled, to be nourished, to be loved. I feel is a phrase we can use for Cancer. I nurture, I remember. I feel, I nurture, I remember. And so Cancer in its evolved state is learning how to be present with the emotions, to develop their intuitive abilities, to be able to differentiate between one's own individual psychic impressions and the influence that others have on them, whether that is family related or more collective related. And so some of what I'm offering you is just kind of scratching the surface of it. It kind of feels like just the foam, but the sea foam. But we'll explore it more on the Cancer new moon. I wanted to just tap in and start to invite you into some of these themes. Yeah, the High Priestess, the Chariot, and the Knight of Cups would be the three cards that you could put out on your Cancer season altar if you feel inclined. Let's go and we'll shift into our energy update for the next week. But before we do that, I'd like to share a little announcement with you. So I'm about to ask you 3 questions, and these questions lead into a new community offering that I'm putting out. The first question, are you just starting out as a spiritual or wellness practitioner? Question 2, are you in need of extra support as you dedicate your life to support the well-being of others? And number 3, could you benefit from the structure and support of a community of like-minded professionals? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then this community is being built with you in mind. So this summer, I'm hosting an 8-week online community support group for spiritual and wellness practitioners. It can be for anyone really, but the focus is for those in our community who work as astrologers or massage therapists, teachers, tarot readers, healers, writers, artists. Over the past few years, I have witnessed many of you, clients, students, other community members, expand your gifts and your offerings by stepping into new roles. And so in tandem with that expansion, we've also been moving through the threshold of a global pandemic. And it has become more and more aware to me of how important it is for us to come together as practitioners, to share with each other our lessons and our expertise. And so this is why I feel called to bring to you an 8-week online community support group. So if you're longing for community connection that is set with the intention to provide a structure for greater presence through the nourishment of togetherness, then this gathering is for you. So we'll have weekly check-ins. We'll meet 3 weeks each month, the month of July, August, and September. And so this is going to be a consistent group. Those who sign up are committed to the 8 weeks. And so we will cultivate relationships with each other. And so it'll be a consistent group of like-minded, magical professionals and creatives. And it holds the potential for a lot of heart-opening breakthroughs and connections. What I'm excited about is that I get to bring my expertise. This group is gathering with the intention to provide support for one another, but we're going to be using the tools of astrology, of tarot, of meditation, ritual, mindfulness, and embodied health. And so as the space holder, I'll use my expertise of almost 10 years facilitating groups through journeys of transformations to ensure a container of mutual trust and accountability. I'll also share with you many tools and techniques that I use to continue to show up to the work, to avoid burnout through such heightened collective times. So if you want to learn more about it, there's a link in the show notes to it. Again, 8-week online community support group. It's meeting on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you'd like to see the scheduled dates, they're also listed on the website. It would be an honor to gather with you in this way. There's also a reparations rate that's available. All are welcomed and encouraged to join the group. And I look forward to the potential of getting to see you 8 times this summer over Zoom. So that is the announcement I have for this episode. And at this time, we can transition into our final part where we look at the energy of the next week, June 21st through June 27th. Okay, again, happy Cancer season to you. The sun is moving from the 0 degrees of Cancer to the 6 degrees of Cancer over the next week. Again, we're looking at the dates June 21st through June 27th of 2022. So as we're at the beginning of Cancer season, we're shining a light to the first 6 degrees of this sign. We begin to shine a conscious awareness, the sun, to the unconscious, Cancer, to our relationship to home and to family, to nurturance, to self-care. So it is a time of year to be more gentle with ourselves, and we're keeping that in mind and knowing that this time of year is influenced by the moon. So let's look at what's going on with the moon over the next week. At the beginning of Cancer season, the moon is in the sign of Aries, the first sign of our astrological wheel, and will move from Aries through Taurus and Gemini to Cancer by the time we get to next week. The Cancer new moon is on Tuesday, June 28th. And so as we're in this final quarter of the moon phase, the last quarter moon phase, it moves through the waning crescent and then to the new moon. This is a time of letting go, of surrender, of deeper rest, finishing up projects, wrapping up projects as we begin to make room for new beginnings that will follow at the new moon next week. Mercury is in the mutable air sign of Gemini. Mercury is moving from the 7 degrees of Gemini to the 17th degree of Gemini, so it's zipping through Gemini. So you can look to this part of your chart in Gemini to see what might be receiving messages. But Mercury is at home in the sign of Gemini. So conversations are likely flowing. There's likely a lot of information being put out into the world. New ideas, new collaborations, particularly with those who feel like siblings to you. You know, this is an opportunity for you to really put ideas down, writing them out to create new opportunities for connection, seeing the world in a new light, being open to synchronicities, being open to messages from birds, from small animals. Mercury and Gemini, a time to think analytically and logically, but also to find the play and the balance in the spiritual realm as well. Venus is at the final degrees of Taurus right here at the start of Cancer season, and then moves into the mutable air sign of Gemini on Thursday, June 23rd. And so Venus and Gemini will have Mercury and Venus in this mutable air sign. Venus and Gemini shifts our love nature towards being more collaborative and social. Venus and Gemini makes me think of taking flowers, actually taking them off of their, like taking a rose off of a bush, cutting it with scissors, and then putting it in a vase. We're now moving it to another place or giving it to a friend. So Gemini wants to move things around, and Venus is the earth and nature. So short-term traveling with friends, short-term traveling is Gemini. Friends is also Gemini, or with your lover. Could be Gemini, could be Venus. I find Venus enjoys being in Gemini. It's the Empress card, Venus, next to the Lover's card, Gemini. So over this week, it is a wonderful time to make money, Venus, through collaboration and writing, Gemini, to start putting ideas down into the physical world, to use your hands, Gemini, to create beauty, Venus. Mars travels from the 19th degree of Aries to the 24th degree of Aries over this week. Mars is at home in the sign of Aries and is approaching a conjunction with Eris in Aries. Eris, spelled E-R-I-S, is the warrior feminine. Eris is a planetoid and is outside of Pluto's orbit. Eris, I often say, is the feminist in our chart and is currently at the 24th degree of Aries. So by the end of this week, by the time we get to the new moon, the Cancer new moon, Mars and Eris are conjunct in the sky. So we'll explore that invitation on the Cancer new moon, but we are building momentum towards, we've been taking action as individuals. Jupiter's in Aries right now. Cancer season starts with Moon in Aries. Chiron's in Aries, Mars is in Aries, and Eris is in Aries. So we're at this new beginning. You might be feeling it. With Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter moves from the 6th degree to the 7th degree of Aries over this week. Still at this new, bold beginning. You likely started to feel a shift in the last month or so that you are in completely uncharted territory in your life. For some of us, this might feel like being launched into a whole new phase where there is no choice but for you to hit the ground running. For some of us, Aries energy might feel a little softer, like a seedling breaking through the soil, but that takes a lot of strength and inner willpower to break through the soil. But it could be a soft opening. For some of us, it might feel like launching into a whole new phase. And so at times, Jupiter is expanding Aries in our life. At times, it might feel like we're expanding our capacity to really show up as an individual. But Jupiter can also exasperate the qualities too. So we might see in the world around us more confrontations. So it's important to remember to ground, to come back to your root, to the root chakra, to the base of the spine, to the core of the earth. Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter is the wheel of fortune next to the emperor, Aries, and then Mars is the tower. So there could be explosive breakthroughs, breakups, breakdowns. Aries is the polar sign to Libra, which is relationship, balance, harmony, peace, love. Aries is the sign of new beginnings, the warrior, the sense of ambition and passion and desire and drive. So all of us are needing opportunities to express our very sense of self in a whole new way. This is a new 12-year cycle, Jupiter entering Aries. And with Mars in Aries right now approaching its conjunction with Eris, it's feeling a bit more heightened. Chiron is also in Aries too. And so Chiron has been in Aries since 2019 and will stay in Aries until about 2026. So we do get a 7-year time period understanding Chiron and Aries, but Chiron is childhood trauma. It's where we compartmentalize our trauma. It's the wounded healer, it's often called. So we are learning how to heal our very individual selves right now. For some of this might feel like it's bringing up stuff from our past, particularly during Cancer season, where we are able to go deep within ourselves and see the ways that we might feel very different from our blood family, and the ways that we have had to really step up and persevere to carve out a path for ourselves, Aries, in the face of opposition. And so right now, there could be a lot of feelings of fight or flight. What's important, again, is to ground into your truth. The Emperor is the soul growth card for Aries in the tarot. So you could use the Emperor as a meditation. And it does feel like this summer is an opportunity for us to really break through in new ways. And so some of that might come with some work because we have the North Node in Taurus and also Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus all week at the 17th degree of Taurus. This feels important because the North Node of Fate is in Taurus at the 21st degree all week. And so this is a continual theme for us throughout the summer. The North Node of Fate and Uranus are approaching their exact conjunction, which takes place on July 31st. By the way, when Uranus and the North Node of Fate align in Taurus, Mars will also be there in Taurus. So we are being encouraged to work hard, Taurus, to be in our body, to innovate in new ways. This is Uranus. To be in our body is Taurus, to innovate in new ways through our body, through our connection to our work, to sensuality, to growth, to the earth, to love. Routines are very helpful. Staying focused and persistent with whatever your work and your offering is in the world, whatever it is that you are creating, cultivating, manifesting. Innovation, trying something new. It might feel like you're stuck in the mud at times, but this Taurian energy wants us to keep plowing through. Jupiter in Aries, Chiron in Aries wants us to heal old wounds around our sense of self and what it means to explore uncharted territory. Saturn recently stationed retrograde at the beginning of June at the 25th degree of Aquarius. I know I'm feeling it. My sun is at the 25th degree of Aquarius. So over this week, Saturn is traveling from 25 degrees of Aquarius back to 24 degrees. Saturn is the planet of responsibility, of restriction, of adulthood. Saturn will be moving retrograde for the next 4 months until Libra season and is traveling back to the 18th degree of Aquarius. And so this is a time to review our lessons with Saturn and Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius has been a marker. Saturn entered Aquarius right at the beginning of social distancing. And so this is the final retrograde of Saturn in Aquarius. And then as Saturn stations direct in October of this year, Saturn will move through the final degrees of Aquarius and then will enter Pisces in March of 2023. So those of you with Saturn in Aquarius in your chart, you are coming towards the final leg of your Saturn return. Congratulations, you're about to graduate. Those of you with Saturn in Pisces, you are beginning to prepare for your Saturn return. So this is a time to review our lessons with Saturn in Aquarius during this retrograde over the summer. Saturn wants to know how we are committing to community, how we are being responsible in the way that we share information, particularly those that are humanitarian or have some sort of social lens to it. Aquarius in the tarot is also the star card. So how are you committing to the star card in your life? How are you bathing in cosmic truths? How are you relaxing your nervous system? How have you expanded your consciousness over the last few years? And how are you using that to better your understanding of what it means to be an adult here on this planet that is growing and evolving? So this is some of the main energy for the week. This all, is continual themes that we've been exploring. We also have Neptune and Pisces at the 25th degree. Neptune is slowing down right now to station retrograde. On the Cancer new moon, June 28th, Neptune will station retrograde. So this will start a new 4-month period, a time to review our lessons with Neptune and Pisces. And so Neptune is at the final few degrees of Pisces. This is the farthest Neptune has gotten in Pisces, up to the 25th degree. And so again, when I'm sharing degrees and signs, whatever signs you have present in your chart, if you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, this will relate to you more personally. If you are a Cancer or a Scorpio, the other water signs, this will also relate to you in certain ways. And so, again, all of these transits and energies, you might be sensing them and feeling them in your life, but some of them you might be feeling more poignantly, particularly if your sun is at like the 25th degree of Pisces. Neptune is stationing on your sun right now. And so Neptune rules over addiction, alcohol, fantasy, drugs, but also is connected to compassion and art and spirituality. And so Pisces is connected to the planet Neptune. So this has been a strong energy. Neptune entered Pisces in 2011. And so this whole time period from 2011 to 2026 is a deeply spiritual time. And so there have been a resurgence of things like tarot and astrology and yoga philosophy that have been flooding through collective movements, but there's also been a lot of conspiracy and confusion, not really knowing what reality is. And so we are at the end of a vast cycle here with Neptune and Pisces, but as Neptune stations retrograde on the Cancer new moon, we get this opportunity to review some of these lessons with Neptune and Pisces. We'll explore this more as we continue into Cancer season. So yes, Chiron is in Aries right now. We explored that. I'll briefly go over some of the asteroids right now. So Pallas is in Taurus. This is offering us an objective perspective to our connection to the earth and to the body. Ceres and Black Moon Lilith are in the sign of Cancer, so these become more prominent for us as the sun is in Cancer this week. Ceres is inviting us to cultivate our relationship to our health, to our body, and to nature and to the land. Lilith is connected to exploring our shadow and our sexuality and can bring up the shadow of the mother in Cancer, the shadow of our relationship to family. So this is like the witch, Lilith, who's harvesting. Ceres holds this harvesting tool at home. So there's some deep internal ancestral healing that's taking place over this week and throughout Cancer season. It's also very expansive, connected to collective emotion, because we have Vesta and Juno and Pisces. Juno is partnership, and Vesta is our devotional spiritual practices in the sign of Pisces, partnering with spirit through devotion. So if Jupiter's in Aries, we're starting a new fiery beginning, but we're also devoted and partnering with magic or spirit or something greater. These are some of the themes for us over the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. If you would like to receive a newsletter for the new and the full moon, you can sign up for the newsletter at the link in the show notes. And I'm sending you a lot of love. I hope that you have a beautiful summer solstice or winter solstice, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks as always for being here. Remember, deep breath into the belly, the rib cage, the breast, also the side body is Cancer. So doing side stretches, you can think of the Cancer moving side to side. These are all practices that you can engage with during this time of year to help connect you to the energy that's available to you. If you'd like to learn more, you can follow me on Instagram at cosmic.cousins. I also have readings available for this summer, both tarot and astrology. Okay, I'll see you for the Cancer new moon next week. Take sweet care, cousins, and remember, deep breaths.